But first, developing this evening, detectives are trying to figure out who killed a 35-year-old in High Point. Police say they found Quadarius Hill with multiple gunshot wounds. This was inside a car on Willard Avenue late last night. A second victim, a 31-year-old, was found inside a home. Hill died at the hospital. The second victim is in serious condition right now. Investigators believe this is an isolated incident. If you know anything, please call police. Another developing story this evening as Burlington police investigate a large fight. It broke out on the field after a football game. It happened last night at Cummings High School. Officers are asking anyone who has video of what happened to reach out to them. The Alamance Burlington school system released a statement saying, while athletic contests should showcase healthy competition and sportsmanship, the behavior exhibited does not reflect the core values of respect and integrity we expect. A full investigation is underway. New at 6, Danville Councilman Lee Volger is making progress recovering after being set on fire in July. His wife says Volger is now walking again on his own after a successful skin graft. He's even climbing the stairs, and he was released from the intensive care unit months earlier than expected. The suspect in the case is charged with attempted first-degree murder, and the community continues to rally around Volger. His wife wants to thank everyone, writing, "We are so grateful for the exceptional care he received and the love our community continues to show." Right now, the North Carolina Aggies are hosting the greatest homecoming on earth, and the Aggies kicked off the weekend with a huge parade through Greensboro. Our Giselle Thomas was there for all the fun.
As the band rounds Lindsay Street, thousands of spectators gather to cheer on North Carolina A&T's 2025 homecoming parade. For Teresa Caldwell,
I had moved away and came back, so now this is like a big thing for me.
It's reminiscing on memories.
I attended everything from the 2 to 6 to the parade to the game, and I just had a long weekend. We had to sleep on Monday.
For Russell Mosley and Tina Crippia,
Aggie Pride!
It's a reminder of Black excellence and tradition.
Everybody is Aggie Pride. That's what we are. We love each other.
Mostly they're watching the little ones come up and enjoying and being active.
For Sylvia and Bobby Harris, it's a reminder of where a love story first began.
We met here in the early 1980s, and we've been together ever since.
Most importantly, they all tell me it's a reminder that community is where your heart is. In Greensboro, Giselle Thomas, WFMY News 2.
And you can't have the greatest homecoming on earth without some of the greatest tailgates. From music to some good old grilling, students and alumni came together for fellowship and to get ready for today's big game.
It's just a family. It's a coming back. It's a reunion. Get to see people you haven't seen in a long time. And it's a culture where when we were in school, the older alums took care of the students, and now we're older alums. We're taking care of the students, and we all come back and have a great time.
Man, that food looked good too. They had a lot of fun and fellowship. Alumni packed the streets to cheer on the Aggies. And of course, we can't forget about the annual homecoming game. Today, the Aggies face South Carolina State, and Bryce Parker has a recap of all the action on the field.
Yes, I do. The Aggies were looking to get their first homecoming win since 2022 when they defeated Campbell 45-38. And what better way to break that streak than to do it against a longtime rival. Now in the first, South Carolina State quarterback Ryan Stubblefield drops back to pass, fires, but it's intercepted by Joshua Izia. The Aggies would then kick a field goal and go up 3-0. Now later in the second quarter, West Davidson alum Andrew Brown, he's going to allow this 55-yarder that's right down the middle of the uprights. Brown would then kick another field goal after this to put the Aggies up 9-0 at half. Now, William Atkinson IV would go in at quarterback for South Carolina State. Under pressure, hit Cyrus Ellison up the seam. He would walk into the end zone to start the Bulldogs' comeback. Now the Bulldogs were back on offense. Atkins goes back to the air. This time, he's going to find Jordan Smith, who is wide open, gets behind that Aggie defense. South Carolina State goes up 22-9, and then the Aggies on offense late. They're going to be in the red zone. Quarterback Kevin White, he's going to drop back, throws a short pass to Thomas Brown, who's going to make this Bulldogs defender miss. What a spin move. The Aggies could not complete the comeback. They fall to South Carolina State 22-16.
Well, I want my players to know that I love them and that I'm proud of them, and that we're going to keep working and we're going to get them better, and we're going to get them to understand, you know, what it takes to win. But they've came a long way, and we still got a very long way to go. And, you know, to the Aggie community, first and foremost, you know, happy homecoming to all the alums. You know, I hate that we weren't able to win so they could really celebrate, but we're getting better, and we're going to get this program back to where they have something to be proud of.
The Aggies are back at home next week where they will take on Campbell. And that is your WFMY News 2 Sports Report.
Happening right now, a perk of living in Jeansboro. The Lee Wrangler Warehouse Sale is going on right now in downtown Greensboro. It kicked off today and runs through October 19th.
Items that the company has available that we want to sell to the people of Greensboro, that since we don't have an outlet store here, we also want to give something to the community that, you know, Contour, previously VF's been here for so long, so it's a good way to give back to the community.
The sale's going on next to the Contour building in downtown Greensboro, and all items are under $20. They put new stuff out each night after they close. The streets of downtown Mount Airy are packed this weekend as the Autumn Leaves Festival celebrates its 59th year. The festival is one of North Carolina's longest running and most successful events, drawing visitors from across the region with live music, handmade crafts, and plenty of food.
We're from North Wilkesboro. We live about an hour away, and this makes our probably third or fourth year coming here. And we go to several festivals, and this is our favorite by far. It's so wonderful, and just so many different vendors, and so nice and friendly.
It's also been named one of the top 20 events in the Southeast by the Southeast Tourism Society. The festival hours run through Sunday at 6 o'clock. You still have time to go, and it is free. Organizers say the festival continues to honor the region's small town charm, keeping tradition alive for nearly 6 decades. The weather out there was just beautiful today for the fall foliage too.
Happy Saturday, everyone. It was a cool, cloudy and breezy day across most of the Carolinas, but especially across the Triad. High temperatures only reaching the 60s for the majority of the day. And we're going to see another rinse repeat forecast heading into Sunday. But the biggest difference is eventually bringing in a small chance for some rain. Here's the current satellite loop. You can see that low pressure center just off the Carolina coast trying to develop and bring those higher rain chances. Notice, though, as the rain is trying to get closer to the central part here of the Carolinas, we're starting to see that die out. And that's because of dry air still over the region. Remember that when rain falls from the clouds, yes, of course, it can be moist way up here, high up in the atmosphere. But as it gets closer to the ground, especially this time of year, if the air is too dry, it will evaporate before it reaches the ground. But after a couple hours of that rain, eventually the air can saturate. And so that's why we weren't expecting rain today. But overnight heading into Sunday, we'll see a higher chance. In fact, you can already see the dew point starting to increase. Greensboro's at 55. But look at Pinehurst over toward Raleigh-Durham Airport. You can see that those numbers are starting to filter into the upper 50s, low 60s. Once these dew points tap into 60 plus, that's when we'll start to see that atmosphere warm enough, or I guess moist enough rather, in order to see that rain reach the ground. So when do I think that's going to happen? Again, after midnight, a small chance for some light rain. If you're going out early for some Sunday morning church services, I do think we should anticipate at least some light rain. I don't think it'll be quite as heavy as this particular model is showing, because remember, it's showing the rain falling from the sky, not what's reaching the ground. But again, prepare nonetheless for that chance of rain in the morning. This will become much more scattered throughout the afternoon, but the clouds, the temperatures tomorrow only in the 60s will continue, but then we're expecting much more sunshine returning for the first half of the week. So I know it's not ideal to see a cloudy and cool and breezy weekend for a lot of folks who have outdoor plans, but at least we're looking forward to some better weather eventually. Here's your next 12 hours. You can see again, cloudy now, 60s for the most part, a few spots in the upper 50s heading into the evening hours. But again, for the most part, we're going to keep hold of the 60s. So here's that morning forecast, 58 degrees in Greensboro there for Sunday morning, off and on rain, again, heaviest in the morning, highs only in the 60s. We'll see a few isolated little showers lingering into Monday morning, but then a lot warmer heading into the middle part of the week. In fact, we're going to see a pretty big warm up. Most spots by Wednesday, upper 70s to lower 80s before another round of slightly cooler and slightly drier air mixes in by the end of the week. What I do want to point out here on that 7-day forecast is by Friday and Saturday morning, while yes, the afternoon highs are pretty close to average back in the 70s, those morning lows back in the upper 40s. So similar to what we had just Friday morning, it is going to be a morning where you certainly need the heavier coats, but by the afternoon, things will look a lot nicer.
New at 6, a heartbreaking update out of Tennessee. This evening, officials now say all 18 people missing after that massive explosion at the munitions factory in Tennessee are presumed dead. The blast happened Friday morning at Accurate Energetic Systems, a facility that makes military explosives. It's about 60 miles west of Nashville. The explosion destroyed one of the 8 buildings on site, damaging vehicles and scattering debris across the area. Officials say the number of missing people dropped from 19 to 18 after confirming one person was not on site when the blast happened.
I think that what we need right now is we need our communities to come together and understand that we've lost a lot of people, and this don't only affect those families. It runs deeper than just that their brother, their sister, their mom and dad. This could be people that you grew up with.
The sheriff's office says teams are now focusing on recovering remains and identifying everyone. The cause of the explosion is still under investigation. New this evening, former President Joe Biden is starting radiation therapy as part of his treatment for prostate cancer. A spokesperson for Biden did not give a timeline for the treatment. A source says he began it a few weeks ago, though. Earlier this spring, Biden announced he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has now spread to his bones. Shortly after being diagnosed, Biden said he started a pill regimen to treat the cancer. Biden also underwent an operation to remove skin cancer lesions last month. Today marks 11 days since the government shutdown started, and while hundreds of thousands of federal employees are not getting a paycheck, President Donald Trump announced a few hours ago his administration has found the money to pay the military. The president said service members will receive a check on October 15th. This comes after Trump's promise to pay service members during the government shutdown. A spokesperson for the Office of Management and Budget says the funds to pay the military will come from research and development money in the Pentagon's budget. That money is available for 2 years. After 2 years at war, a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is finally in effect. The deal calls for Hamas to release all remaining hostages, both dead and alive. The Israeli forces will withdraw from Gaza as a result. CBS News has the latest.
A ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is in effect, bringing to an end a 2-year-long conflict that began with the October 7th attacks in 2023. Now the clock is ticking for Hamas to release the Israeli hostages being held in Gaza, both alive and dead. On Saturday, the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, toured the Gaza Strip. Thousands of displaced residents are flooding back to what's left of their homes, many of which have been reduced to rubble. Members of the Israeli military were seen completing a withdrawal to agree upon deployment lines. Meanwhile, Israelis gathered at Hostages Square in Tel Aviv on Saturday to show solidarity with those hostages still being held in Gaza.
Because I really want them to see the families rest, hugging their people or just putting them to burial.
Hostages' family members anxiously await their loved ones' return.
It's a guarded optimism because it's the kind of optimism that's born out of heartbreaking experience. We hold our hope lightly because we've had our hopes dashed before.
In Washington, President Trump is optimistic about the peace deal he and his team brokered.
They're all tired of fighting, and this really gives the whole Middle East. This is beyond Gaza. Gaza is very important, but this is beyond Gaza. This is peace in the Middle East.
President Trump will travel to the Middle East Sunday, where he's expected to mark the ceasefire and deliver an address to Israel's parliament. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
Oscar-winning actress Diane Keaton has died. A family spokesperson told People magazine Keaton died in California surrounded by loved ones. Her distinct style and charm made her one of the most beloved stars of her generation and even of the next generation. We all love her. Many remember her la-di-da moment in Annie Hall. And here in the Triad, you might remember a visit she made to a Greensboro Chick-fil-A back in 2019. She was here for Furniture Market at the time, and Diane Keaton surprised staff and customers when she stopped by the Guilford College location. Employees said she was charmed by the friendly service and couldn't get enough of the waffle fries and ice cream. A small, sweet memory that left a big impression on fans here in the Triad. Keaton was 79 years old. Our prayers to her family. We'll see you tonight at 11.